D mega doo-doo.
right now.
These days, I'm gonna figure out the lyrics.
Dude, I start the show.
Now,
Welcome to the Kmac Attack Show. Actually, just the Kmac Attack. We're not including the show any longer. And that is something that you'll have to just get used to. But welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hope you had a nice weekend. And what is left of your weekend, 9 o'clock Eastern here on Sunday evening. How's it going, guys? You have a good weekend?
Having a great weekend so far. Thanks, Kyle.
Good. Nick, what's
mine's
going
been
on?
great. Thanks
It hasn't
for
been
asking.
good yet, but I'm hoping things will turn around before it's over.
If it hasn't been good yet, your chances of it turning around are pretty slim at this point.
Dude, I still got about like an hour or two. Maybe the
You're betting a
Kmac.
lot on this show
Next
right now.
hour and two are probably not going to be the ones that do it for you.
Hey, it's never too late. We do have the Vertigo, I'm going to say Vertigo every single time. Vertigo Children, they're going to be on the show in about 15, 20 minutes, and we're excited to have them on. They're a band from Champaign, but we will get into that a little later. I had a pretty good weekend. Caleb, classy Caleb, that you guys play with on Fortnite, he got married, which is really awesome. Obviously,
Wait,
during COVID, it was a little different, but it was in a barn, essentially, but really like one of those, a place where like you have weddings. I mean, it wasn't like a dirt floor and, you know, windows were out and stuff. It was
It's
really
one
nice.
of those kinds of bars.
Yeah, exactly. But the weather yesterday was so awful. I mean, it was raining and basically like sleeting most of the day. And they left afterwards to go to Missouri, like for their honeymoon, basically, to stay in a cabin for a few days. And we just had to tear everything down, take out all the chairs, and it was just miserable. So
They make you clean up.
yeah, which I,
You
you
weren't
know, I
even
don't.
there?
Yeah, I don't
Oh, rude.
expect them to stick around and do all that, but it was horrible. But it was, I mean, the ceremony and everything was really nice. I got to play a few tunes for them. But I don't know. I mean, just during this pandemic, I understand that people want to get married, and I mean, that's totally fine. But at the same time, and it wasn't a huge wedding by any means.
What did you do different? Like, did you have masks or whatnot?
Yeah, everyone wore masks. And even like, especially when we sang, they're like, hey, put your mask on.
Did you have any special like wedding masks? Like hashtag Caleb and girl.
No, they bought
2021?
some from Old Navy though. And
Okay,
I don't know
that's
how
nice.
much those are, but they had like a whole stack and they were pretty nice. I mean, I just brought my own. But it was a really nice ceremony. The rehearsal, you know, didn't take too long, which is always good. And they had these big like heat propane lamps set up everywhere. So if you stood next to it, you were warm, but anywhere outside of that was not. So I was just like huddled around it for most of the night. And then once the actual wedding started, I think everyone being in there warmed up. But no, it was really nice, and I'm really happy for him. And it was funny because Chad was there and Alec, like you guys play with too, and Chad was talking about the show and how he's never seen you before. He just hears you on the game, and he's like, "Yeah, I didn't know which one was Ben and which one was Nick because I would hear their voices, and I was like, I swear that sounds like Ben, but it was Nick." And it was just so funny to think that he's, you know, been playing with us for all this time. And like just until recently, he's actually seen what you look like. Or I think he went through my Facebook and tried to find you too. And I think he just mixed you up for some reason that way. It was Kyle. He's like, man, Kyle, his like face and body does not match his voice because he has a really deep voice, but I guess he knows someone that has like really dark, slick back hair, big beard, and like he has that same kind of voice that Kyle does. And then when he sees you, Kyle, it's like he just thinks of
Got
that
baby
guy.
face.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, yeah, it just does not match up. But I just thought that was so interesting.
He mentioned to me the other day, he's just like, "Oh, that's Nick." I thought that I got him confused with his dad.
Mm.
It happens to me all the time.
Oh yeah, I bet. But no, it was a good time. And Chad gave us some really good feedback on the show.
That was most of the wedding was actually a review of the Kmac attack.
Pretty much. Just we'd get through the ceremony and then talk about the show. But no, I had a lot of people ask about it, and
I have a question. Did you or did you not play Fortnite at the wedding? Or at the bachelor party?
Well, we did at the bachelor party. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Boom,
Classic.
Of course. Yeah, I brought my PlayStation, so we split screen, which is terrible because the screen gets so small and no one else plays on a controller that, you know, Alec and all, they only play on PC, so they had no idea what was going on.
We got some comments from Chad. All I hear is wham. Kmac the knife.
Feel free to join in.
Ben and Nick swapped, and Kyle's voice sounds the same as Buddy, and they look so different. LOL.
Yeah, that's right.
Buddy the elf.
I guess.
Yeah, his friend.
But no, yesterday we did, or yeah, over the weekend we didn't. We really barely played any games either.
That's the weird part about weddings sometimes is like, especially if you're involved with it, you spend so much time in the wedding, you don't really hang out with some of the people that you expect to.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I mean, luckily because it was smaller, Caleb and his wife Jessica now were able to, you know, mingle quite a bit. But at the same time, you're like, I was having a conversation with Caleb, and then all of a sudden someone would come over and he would have to get up and talk to them, and which is fine. But at the same time, I'm sure it was super. He was just always, you know, on his toes, trying to, you know, be there for everyone. But it was fun. And again, hearing from Chad about the show was helpful. Just hearing what goes well and whatnot. Also, my aunt posted from the last show when we were talking about sea shanty. She's like, "Wow, thank you. I've never heard of that before, and I really appreciate you bringing it up." And I was like, "Okay, at least someone enjoyed it," because I did not. I was not my best last time. But other than that, I mean, did you guys hear anything going on?
My family loved it. They thought it was awesome. So
was it just your mom and Kevin?
No, my sister wasn't there, but it was my mom, dad, and Kevin and Sarah was watching too. They all enjoyed it.
I've been embarrassed to tell my family, so I just haven't brought it up.
I just posted on Facebook yesterday, guys.
Wow.
It's been a big deal for me.
I think my mom's still signing up for Twitch. I think she thinks there's like a 2-week verification period. So I haven't told her that there's not. So it's okay.
Just yeah.
You don't need to
She'll
even
figure it
sign
out.
up, do you?
No, you don't. It's called a joke.
Oh, shoot, I did want to ask about the stocks though, because I've heard basically any news outlet I've heard from brings up GameStop, and depending on what side they're on politically, they'll talk about it in a very distinct way. So I just want to know what's going on.
Well, I mean, I kind of
bought in, right?
Yeah, I did, and I kind of explained it last time where it's like short sell, like it's overly short. And so since they got some positive news, as long as you don't sell like 140% of the shares have been shorted, basically meaning that people sold more shares than exist. So that's what shorting is. You sell without actually owning the shares. So at some point you have to buy it because it's backwards. You sell without owning rather than buying. So at some point these people have to buy back their shares. So they hope that the price goes down. So when they buy it, it's cheaper than when they sold it at, just like how normal transactions are, but backwards. And they got pretty greedy and they sold more shares than exist. So as long as the price goes up, they have to pay a heavy price. And so there's some good news on GameStop, and then like basically everyone on Wall Street Bets is like, why don't we just not sell this stock to anybody, just to make sure like once it gets high, they have to buy it from us. And so that's basically what's happening is millions of Redditors using their like stimulus money and everything and whatnot, and have gotten on the board just buying and not selling, because as long as liquidity is low, the stock is going to keep going up, and eventually like they have to buy back not only the shares that they shorted, but that's more than even exist. So the concept is, and it's risky, like don't get me wrong, this isn't foolproof, but the concept is, if they don't, they're gonna have to close it eventually. So if they close for a loss, that means they're buying the stock at whatever price is plus more because they shorted it so much, and then it's going to be a feedback loop really fast. So the next price is going to be even higher, the next one's going to be even higher. And so you can see what happened in like 2008 with Volkswagen, where they declared bankruptcy at the same time of becoming the world's most valuable company, because all the shorts closed out their position. But that was only with 50% shorted. This is 140%. Like they sold more shares than exist. Like, I'm just trying to.
Yeah. Okay. The term I've heard going around a lot is hedge fund, and how it's something to do with that. So explain it to us. Like,
so a hedge fund is, yeah. So a hedge fund
for
is
hedges.
Yeah, it's basically like, you don't know, like I'm a millionaire, or you don't even have to be a millionaire to be part of a hedge fund, but they're typically very huge. So millionaires,
like Fortune 500 companies? Is that
no? So
a
hedge fund is, let's say I'm a millionaire and I want to invest my money somewhere. So it's not just sitting in the bank, because that's a terrible place to put money. So I want to invest it to hopefully grow my money and get more and more money on investments. So I basically give it to somebody else to do it for me. And so that's what a hedge fund is. It's these private groups of people who manage other people's money. And so the thing is, these hedge funds, since they have so much money, they can sometimes be extremely risky, which is what they were doing. They were shorting just so much money into GameStop because they just own all these people's money. But with shorts, you can lose 100%. You can lose infinite amount of money. So they might go bankrupt, which is the funny part, is these Redditors might bankrupt multi-billion-dollar accounts.
But a hedge fund is essentially like, it's like people pooling their money together.
Under like one
as like a
person.
safety net, almost, like is
Not
is that my
necessarily a
understanding?
safety net, but as kind of like a risky way of growing your wealth. Because
My question is, how come when people short stocks in 2008, they make a movie about it? They're heroes. Now people short stocks, they're the villains. Explain that to me.
Okay,
Sound like a
the big
Facebook
difference
meme.
is who's like, where's the profit coming from? And it's kind of the reverse.
I love that show.
What
Sorry,
show?
The Prophet. Anyway, I'm just
Okay.
keep going.
Who's profiting off of whose misery is kind of like who's the villain and stuff. So in 2008, people were profiting off of like the financial collapse, and or like by making the financial system very prone to being collapsed. And so whenever it did collapse, everyone lost money. But in the Big Short, people were betting against the greedy hedge funds. So they were shorting the hedge funds. Now the hedge funds are shorting against retails. So it's kind of flipped, if that makes sense.
So you're saying we could make the bigger short? That's what
we could.
That's in the works.
I
mean,
it's complicated and it's gotten really weird. Like Wall Street Bets is now just this group of millennial, like 19-year-olds who are like, finally, we're getting revenge for 2008. I'm like, you guys were like 4 when that happened.
Also, 19-year-olds are not millennials, for the record.
Yeah,
but
good point.
anyways,
Gen Z.
I just say millennial for anybody. Yeah, I'm a boomer.
What are you, a boomer? Yeah.
What are you, a boomer?
Yeah, so the subreddit has kind of gone downhill, but I think there is, like, I don't know, I put money into it. I think there's something.
Now explain to the folks at home what a subreddit is.
Yeah, what is this Redditor?
So imagine you had a bunch of stock in Reddit. So that means you own.
Are you seeing any
subreddit's
gains in
kind
it?
of like I mean, yes and no. It fluctuates a lot. So I'm kind of even right now with it, just because of whenever I got involved with it. if I would have got involved with it, like whenever I first noticed, I would have had
2 weeks ago.
1,000% gain by this point.
Yikes.
So that's 10 times the amount of money. So I personally am kind of breaking even, but I still think there's room to go. So
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you don't have gains until you sell. So
yeah, like I mentioned last show, I just feel the money that I earn is I'm just going to save it, and because it is a form of gambling when you go into the stock market, and because I know basically nothing about it,
it's gambling if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's fair.
You use like acorns or something like that.
Yeah,
I
guess I'm just not
do it for you.
I'm just not interested enough to try, I guess. So I hope it goes well, Nick. I mean, keep us posted, because if you say, "Hey, I'm gonna leave the show now because I just made 1,000% gains," it's like, all right, see you later.
Literally aren't worth my time anymore.
I mean, have you seen the guy who's worth over 40 million now? Off of
I heard someone got into it, earned like $50,000, bought a house.
Yeah, no, that's what's happened. This guy a year ago put in $50,000 in what are called calls. So essentially, he bought a ton of shares for $50,000. And now he's worth over $40 million if he was to sell right now.
That's insane.
And so basically everyone's and he's on like the New York Times and everything because of that.
I know a guy who bought 5 Bitcoin when it was at $1,000.
Nice.
Bitcoin's at 33,000 now. Those of you.
Did you hear about the guy who has like $2 million worth of Bitcoin, and it's on some hard drive and it's password protected?
Yeah.
And he has one password attempt left.
Yeah,
before it permanently locks it out. Did you mention that? That's probably where I heard it from.
The first or second show, and that was when he had 2 left.
Oh, that's funny.
He had 2 tries. I read that, and he was so depressed and just like wandering through his life, like, should I keep going with this? What do I do? Should I just let it go? That would be the worst.
Should I go to the media and tell him my story and make money elsewhere?
Yeah, exactly. He's just trying to break even.
They could milk that into like a memoir. You could get a book deal off that.
You could get another like Social Network type movie made after that.
Right.
Just this guy trying to figure out what his password is.
There was that paper. There was that red paper clip.
It could be this.
Who made like a bunch of stuff off of that? Remember that?
The what? The red paper clip?
Yeah, where the guy started the red paperclip and eventually wound up with a house.
What?
I don't
know what you're talking about.
All right, for another time, because we have.
It was all the rage in 2004. Okay.
Okay, we'll take a step back in time. Chris Hartley and the Vertigo Children are going to join us right now. As we mentioned, they are from Champaign, Illinois, and we're going to get a brief interview from them, as well as play some of their music. I'm excited. I do have a lot of questions, not even just to get to know them, but really to understand, because this is music that obviously I'm not a fan of really, but
obviously.
Well, if you know me,
wow, just tell me you don't even like their music, right?
I don't even know their music.
Right away. This is bad, but no, I don't see their video. But
we're gonna play their music. So are we getting together and playing it? There we go.
What's up, guys?
What's up, y'all?
Okay, we got a little change of scenery from the last time we saw you. This is what we're talking about. How's it going? Can you hear us all right?
Yep.
Perfect. You got a 4-piece now. What's going on?
That's Brighton. He's our roommate. He just
He just shows up shirtless when you need him.
Yeah.
Perfect.
More than shirtless.
Yep.
I can imagine. Well, thank you for joining us. The Vertigo Children on right now, and have some questions for them and their music. They are a 3-piece band from Champaign, Illinois, and you guys started in November of 2018. Can you guys just share how you got together and why you got together?
Yeah. So it was just me and Kevin messing around, playing we were playing in his really shitty basement, just like vocal and guitar improv. harsh vocal and guitar improv. And then eventually we recruited drummer Sam, who yeah, and we and then we became a trio, and then we've had a few bass players here and there. And that's the long and short of it.
Okay, so can you just go around and just like raise your hand and say who you are so we can have an idea?
Okay, Chris.
Hello.
I'm Sam. That's Brighton.
Okay, Chris, Kevin, Sam, Brighton. Okay, so did you guys all go to school, or how did you even meet?
I met Kevin at the bike project.
Hell
Yeah. I think. Do you remember this? I commented on your daughter's shirt.
Dude, yeah. And I was like, bro,
Yeah.
That's how it all got started. That
That's how
one
it got
comment
started. Yep. That one comment.
changes everything.
Dude, you're gonna get us banned from the Kmac attack forever. All right.
I'm serious.
Yeah, and then
we dropped the
please.
show. It's just Kmac attack. Please.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please
Please.
respect it. Yeah.
Thank you, Nick.
the Big Mac attack.
That's copyrighted. We're gonna erase that. So how did you meet Sam?
Oh, Chris and I was in the music program at U of I, and Chris and I had kind of like slightly mingled in like some other bands, and then he approached me after he had been like clowning around with Kevin for a while.
That's the University of Idaho, by the way, for those keeping track at home.
Oh my god.
Awesome. So yeah, you
It's
said
not
you
like
got-
University. Sorry, but it's not like University of Illinois is like a name you think of when you think of rock bands.
Well, I mean, REO Speedwagon's from.
That's what I was gonna say.
I mean, do your research, Nick. So you
That's literally it.
mentioned you had trouble finding a bass player, but I listened to some of your tracks and I think I hear bass on it. So did you have one of you guys playing bass, or have a bass player at the time?
We kicked
Or
him out.
maybe
I'll just come out and
we
say
kicked
it.
him out.
We kicked him out.
that's fine. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But you had him at the time, and then now.
We had
You
two basses actually. There's a
Oh,
different
true,
there's a
yeah.
different
Oh,
bass player on like our demo project, and
Yeah.
then another bass player on our full length album. And now we're without bass.
Gotcha. So then, if you were to record again, would one of you just play the bass, or how would that go about? Or we just not have it?
No bass.
As of now, we're gonna like
Cover
try and
pedal.
go without bass. We feel like pretty confident
the
that
bass is not a necessary instrument.
Yeah, it's
whoever
not a-
made that, whoever decided the bass should be a necessary instrument,
Awesome.
they can
That's
talk-
Okay.
I would put
We're not taking any sort of stance here.
yeah.
Um,
Let's put that away for now.
We're taking a stance against bases.
against
Hard
bases, yeah.
stance against bases.
Kyle, prepare to get blickified.
The thoughts and views of the Kmac attack do not necessarily reflect.
All right.
Thank you.
I
We
don't
need to
know,
put
whatever.
we'll put out the statement later. Um,
You may or may not be pro base.
now I asked Chris when I was basically asking if you wanted to be on the show, what kind of music you play or what genre you consider yourself, and you and on your website claim that you're experimental, hard, and grindcore, and then you mentioned we don't really like to classify ourselves musically. So
Yeah.
is that statement correct? And what do you mean by that?
Oh man, I feel like a lawyer is grilling me in court right now. I'd say that we're trying to be a grindcore band, but it's
Explain it like you're trying to explain it to your mom, because I don't think Kmac has any idea.
Well, what is grindcore? I mean, how would you define that to someone that doesn't know what that
Okay,
is?
I mean,
I don't know what that is either.
Grindcore is super fast. No, they've only said no more. I'll respect the Kmac.
Yeah.
I
Super
appreciate it.
fast metal.
Super fast metal.
Really,
that's it.
that's
Mhm.
it.
That's
really.
Amazing.
Okay.
Very
What,
Doesn't
well-
have to be-
atonal.
It doesn't have to be more than that.
Yeah,
It's non-atonal.
I said it's atonal.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's non-atonal.
well, when I hear metal, I mean, metal's been around forever. I mean, is it metal like Metallica, Black Sabbath, or is it metal like, what's on the spectrum of metal?
We did cover a Black Sabbath song, "Into the Void."
Oh yeah.
Respect to that. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like
Wait, what are you describing?
he asked if is it like Black Sabbath? Is it like Metallica? Is it like
No.
I think those bands that you named are probably like those are like the incarnate metal bands,
Yeah.
Right.
like pillars of metal. But I would say we're like a contemporary metal band of sorts.
Would you consider them influences, or are there other bands that you listen to and try to take some of their work or their influence?
I would say we're many degrees away from like Metallica.
Sure.
But it's all the same. It's all the same
I think
ballpark.
there's some shared DNA, like inevitably. If you throw around the name like Black Sabbath, I feel like anyone who's claiming to be a metal band after Black Sabbath started existing, then you are piggybacking off of that already.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a band then that is maybe still around right now, or is more recent that you would say, if someone asked you what you sound like, you would be like, yeah, we kind of sound like them?
I don't know. Oh, we like Converge. We like the Armed.
Discordance Axis.
Discordance Axis.
Well,
big fan of.
but
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're good.
I gotcha.
I don't know anything else. Any other bands?
I think Converge is like a good round estimate of kind of.
Okay, and then I don't know if you mentioned this already, Chris, but why did you say that you don't prefer to classify yourself? What was that? Why did you say that?
You're gonna be in timeout.
I think. Let me think. Why do?
And do you guys agree with that? What he said to me?
Oh my god.
I don't know. I
You're like grilling him, Kmac.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Let's please go in depth and describe your music before we ever hear it. I want to know everything to expect.
That's right.
Hey, Kmac, you have a recording of him, right?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's play the recording.
Yeah. Let's. I'd
'Cause
rather.
I don't know what they sound like, and I want to hear. I'm
Okay,
curious.
awesome. Okay, well, I'll play that. I'll share my screen, and we can get a little taste of the Vertigo Children. This was what Chris sent to me. Can you guys see this?
Oh shoot, that's where Urbana is.
Let me know how the levels are.
What country is North? I've never heard of North before.
All right, quiet, please, and here we go.
Must be the native name for Canada.
You sharing sound with that?
Can you hear that?
No.
No.
You need to share your sound.
You can.
Reshare.
Okay, I thought it was.
No,
already.
that's the vertical children's sound. It's like you're listening to their music from someone's cell phone in the room next to you.
All right,
you
go.
guys should change your name to the Vertical Children.
Yep.
All right, let's start it over. Here we go. You good?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there. What's going on? just straight up, because like I mentioned at the beginning, and you, Chris, you know this. This is not music that I listen to. So if coming from a perspective like mine, where it's generally very, melodically based.
Yeah. It's all Steve Miller Band.
Strictly Steve Miller Band. And I encounter something like this. Just describe what's happening, because I can describe from my perspective, but the people that created it, what's going on?
I'll be straight up. My dad hit me when I was little. That's why I'm like,
all right. Okay, so yeah, I mean, there's just like I just made some riffs. I was writing some riffs, and I was like, oh, it would be cool if I connected this riff to that riff. And then I kept doing that over and over, and I'm like, okay, that's a song. And I'm not thinking about it in terms of tonal kind of harmony, I'm thinking about it more in terms of guitar riff, and also like grindcore and like death metal and hardcore in general is very like self-referential. It's like its own like sound, so I'm trying to draw from that.
What's the music on the stand? You reading music there?
Actually, that's probably
like
Sam's ideas that he writes down.
Stick control page 1.
Stick control page 1.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I fall into the small demographic of people that
is
get
that what you're
that
playing
joke.
in the
Good
video,
job,
or
Megan.
is that just?
That's what that is.
Where are you recording this from? Is this a practice room somewhere?
Yeah, it's like it's our rehearsal space in this conservatory and CU station. It's a little bit different looking now.
Okay.
And I love that you use a practice room. I love it.
Oh yeah. It's where we teach drum lessons. Well, Sam teaches drum lessons in that room.
I got you.
Yeah.
If I can jump in, I mean, I saw you guys perform in a basement a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, our first show.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean, I feel like you guys have come a long way. I mean, this is really cool stuff. I don't know what basement. I'm sorry.
At the Chub Hut?
Yeah.
Possibly. Oh yeah, I think it was your house. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
No, I was just I feel like it's the vision. I feel like it's a little bit more. It's come more to fruition, I guess, from my perspective. And I'm really impressed. It was really cool, guys.
So from when how recent was this recording that you made from the time of your first show? I mean, what's that gap?
That first show was April 2019, and then this show was we recorded this in December last month.
Yeah, so this is pretty recent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, was this not live on Minecraft?
This was part of it, but it didn't get premiered because we made like a 15-minute long video. They wanted us to make a 15-minute long video, and then they only showed 5 minutes of it. So this is unseen footage.
It's no big deal.
It's no big deal.
Wait, talk about that live on Minecraft.
Yeah. We just played like a cool Minecraft show. It was fun.
I did not know that was a thing.
Like it.
What?
Someone had recreated the American football house on Minecraft, and you guys played in the basement.
Oh my god!
I can't believe that.
I have been in the Minecraft house. I have been. In the
we were
It's labeled on Google Maps. Isn't that funny? Like if you look on Google Maps, it's just like.
Yeah. We were there. We went to a party there one time and we met some
602 High Street.
Yeah.
The American football guys were chill.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear the rest of this.
Yeah, so this was the first song. Let me back it up. What is the title there? How do you say that?
Oh, that is Kirukais.
This is where I shine.
Okay,
because
Kevin.
I made that, and it's about anime, and nobody else has seen the anime.
So that's the title of an anime show.
It's a character from Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Okay.
This gets serious because I really like anime.
Go ahead.
It's the character from Legend of Galactic Heroes, Kirukais. Kirukais.
Yeah, I know him.
Everybody knows him, right?
Yeah.
I have no
Well,
idea who
can you talk about the story a little bit? I think the lyrics are really emotionally charged.
Really good.
I believe it.
The gist of Legend of the Galactic Heroes is like a fascist and democratic space war.
Kmac, quit sharing.
And
For a second.
he's a character on the fascist side, and he's a guiding light to one of the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say anything else though, because I'll spoil the anime. And if you read the lyrics, you might spoil the anime for yourself too. But nobody really gives a fuck about
Fair enough.
anime. So like,
No, you work so hard to get like your enunciation right on those lyrics.
Oh
Like,
my god. No, I think
I think I would agree with it. I don't know. You're joking, but
well,
there is
yes and no. Like, I
Yeah.
know you like did it like intentionally in certain ways. Like,
Nick Sanders scream right now.
Yeah.
That's the question.
yeah, no, I
have,
can't
that-
do it. Don't get me wrong. I can't do
Right,
that.
is that you had this influence, Kevin, of this anime. You probably thought maybe you wrote this. I mean, when you heard the riff from Chris, did you think of the character, or did that come later?
I think there are independent thoughts that I think that was our most mature song at the time, and that was my most like mature idea at the time. And they just kind of it was a good perfect storm coincidence.
Mm-hmm. So when you're writing the lyrics and it is, emotionally charged, this character means a lot to you. When did this anime come out?
Like 87.
Okay, so you've been watching it probably since you were a kid, or is this something you
The
stumbled
anime's
upon?
over. It ended in like probably like 1990 something.
Okay.
I've just been watching it on the internet. I was born in 1997.
So I mean, did you watch it? Like, did you stumble upon it when you were younger, or is it a more recent thing?
It was I stumbled upon it a few years ago.
Okay, so you find this anime, you're inspired by it, and you write these lyrics, and yet, like Nick kind of joked about, it's really difficult for people that don't listen to this music to actually understand what it is you're talking about. So does that bother you in any way, knowing that even though if you were to read it, it would be more understandable about your ideas, but when you perform it, it may not come across? And does that, how do you feel about that?
To be honest, I don't care. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the nature of a lot of this music. Like there's a lot of music I listen to where I'm not even like listening to the lyrics. Or if I like a particular quality of the vocal experience, like the lyrics are maybe not even necessary. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's more of like it's less of a like me thing and more of a like I don't care if somebody listens to it and thinks it sounds like shit. I don't care if somebody listens to it and is like, "Oh, this is really cool. The lyrics are very profound to me. I'm gonna read about them." I just think that's like a listener perspective. Like, there's tons of music I listen to where I'm like, "Oh, I don't really care. I don't know any of the lyrics. It might be like my favorite metal band or something. I don't know any of them." But it just, I don't know. It just depends on how invested I am in listening to something. But my personal perspective, I genuinely don't care. Like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't affect. Like I'm not writing like these parts like thinking like, oh fuck, like is someone not going to be like I have to make sure they hear this
Yeah.
particular like word or something. I mean that might be apparent in songwriting if I'm trying to like make a part stand out or something, but the guiding like principle is not like, oh, the listener needs to like understand the English words necessarily.
Sure.
Oh
And
yeah, I don't yeah, it doesn't really I don't care. Yeah.
yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, if that's something that you're not bound to, then I'm sure it helps with the rest of your performance. And speaking of that, how long have you been? It is screaming, right? That's the technical term for it. How long have you been doing that?
Scream. I would say I would scream at my mom when I was younger. And that was how I practiced.
Okay.
I think I was subconsciously training myself for this.
So,
Only
yeah.
Are you well practiced?
only
Or-
like since me and Chris started playing together,
Mm,
or at least like very seriously. I'd rather like I would like maybe like try screaming to songs I like, but I was like, I don't really have ambition to do this on my own. But maybe if I meet like someone like Chris, for instance, I'll more readily want to like practice this and like put more effort into it, more like
hmm
energy.
Well, how is screaming at your mom, for example, and screaming in a song, how do you do those differently? If someone wanted to start screaming in a band, how could they do that and not just completely wreck their voice?
I was kind of kidding with the mom thing, but
Right. But
it
for
was,
example,
I guess I'm inspired by like personal emotional experiences, and that is like influential in like singing and listening to music. But in screaming at someone in like an emotional situation, it is probably less nuanced and refined than like if I'm trying to like sing a song, uh,
mm,
like sing a song. Like I'm like very um, like fixated on like breathing in between like vocal parts, rather than just like you could just yell and you one might do that and I could say that's very good. But I feel like mine is like strategic screaming.
right.
And
And the
like
way that you in the video, I noticed you're moving around and you're getting the microphone in certain places. Is that natural, or are you actively thinking about that and using those motions to help you?
um well that is a good question. That is actually a good question.
Thank you.
But
Finally.
Finally.
yeah,
What time is it? Yeah.
I just meant that I think that's something not a lot of people like think to ask, and it affects the sound very much so. But like
Mm.
yes, like for that reason, um, yes, like I'm like maybe during a certain part like holding the microphone in such a way that my hands are like cupping the microphone. Um, or if I'm like screaming really high, I might be like positioning my back in such a way because I'm pushing a lot of like air with my diaphragm rather than like trying to shape my vocal cords in a certain way, which is usually if you try screaming like that, you will probably hurt yourself.
Right.
There is a certain amount of technique that goes along with it. I always thought it was just kind of yelling into the microphone.
Yeah, that's the stereotype, is that
Yeah.
oh, you're just screaming, but there is vocal technique, and we all to some degree here have, I mean, on the show have studied, more classical kind of vocal technique.
Ben,
and
how's that classical vocal?
Yeah,
technique?
right.
I've spent many years studying, but no, I haven't.
So how does that differ from what you're doing there? Or maybe there are similarities that people don't know about.
Was that a question?
Yes.
For Ben, wait, can you?
No, sorry, for you.
Wait, how does?
No, I don't actually know anything about.
So
vocal
how does,
technique at all.
like-
That was a joke.
Like more
I'm
classically
not familiar
trained.
with classical technique whatsoever. Like I've never taken like lessons, so to speak, or I've never like educated myself in like traditional singing whatsoever. I'm just familiar with like if I'm pushing my vocal cords in such a way, I will probably hurt myself if I apply it to like the like extension of like screaming really hard or really high.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm going to get back to the video, and we're going to finish out the song we were listening to and jump in, and it'll just go right to the next song. And yeah, I'm just really intrigued by how you're moving around, even between the songs and all that. So hopefully you guys can see that. Here we go.
One more song. Shout out Your Name, the anime. One and only, the anime. Red cord severed. Thank you.
Okay, that was a nice short and sweet one. Now, the thing I also notice is that unlike, the more melodic music, the Steve Miller Band, for instance, that kind of music, there are, it's very, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. You kind of know exactly when to come in. And I'm looking at Sam on the drums, and you're picking up cues from Kevin when he's singing, but and maybe Ben can speak more on this, but as a drummer, everything that you're doing, it just really goes over my head, to be honest. So how do you know what's going on? Is it made up on the spot at times? Are you improvising at all, or is it very regimented?
Except Sharon.
I'll talk about the form of that last song, I guess. There are let's see. There are a few like hits in the song, and I was like, okay, so the song is gonna be, Kevin is just gonna cue it. He's gonna like scream on these beats with all of us, so it'll be da 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 da. Wait, fuck. It's been so long since I played this song. Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1,
Da,
1,
da,
2, 1, 1.
Yep. And Kevin would cue each of those hits, and I would just play like a whatever like bullshit chord.
So to answer your question, that last song that's like 10 seconds that you guys heard, in that case, Kevin is like in charge of the timing. So my role there is like a follower, I guess. And to answer whether or not like I'm improvising, like on the first song you heard, I think my parts are like pretty composed. I think I try to like think through them, but there's like always moments, like in different sections that are like open to like my interpretation every time. So
Yeah, I think I was definitely referencing that first song because so that's sort of what I was picking up on. Is that so? If how you played it on this video, and then if you were to play a show tomorrow, how similar would what you play be between those two?
They would be the same.
It would be pretty similar. Yeah. So that one, the first song is not. I'm not like going. I'm not like going off of like Kevin's cue, or it's not like a free time. Like if I go and like listen to like the mixing session of that song, there's like a metronome that's just like going like this the whole time, and I'm hopefully like playing along with that. So there is a pulse, although all of the rhythmic shenanigans might make it like kind of indiscernible. But
yeah, because that's something that I've always been fascinated by, is how drummers do have that, like, you know, that pulse, like you mentioned. At the same time, all that stuff is going on, and it sounds like they don't, but you're still able to keep it together, and Kevin can follow you, and Chris knows exactly when to come in and all that stuff, which is really awesome. Ben, did you notice anything? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my thoughts just watching it is just, I think it's kind of funny that I feel like I had an almost opposite reaction of what you might have had, Kyle, where you were like, oh, this seems maybe more chaotic or more improvised. And I was like, oh, this is just the whole performance from all three of you is very technical in my eyes, and just like really impressive musicianship. I mean, of course, it's maybe a slightly outside of the, what a lot of people listen to, but I mean, especially, I mean, as a somewhat novice drummer, I mean, I was definitely listening to Sam's drumming and was like, digging it for sure. It's super impressive.
Sure, yeah, and I'm not, dissing on the technical aspect. I mean, all of you are clearly really good at what you do. I think like I said, I'm just having a hard time sort of putting the pieces together. You're not just randomly hitting the drums like, what's that, Chris?
Don't think about it too much.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. The line goes ba ba bum bum ba ba bum, and then you play ba ba bum bum ba ba bum.
Exactly. Right.
You got it. Play it back for me.
So I think. I mean, I don't know.
I think I accidentally did Mars.
I think you did Mars.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this maybe touches on what Chris was going on, but I mean, maybe to Kyle or somebody that's not used to listening to this kind of music. I mean, I don't know. There's like a study that came out a couple of years ago of people studying like how your brain reacts to metal music for fans of metal. And we kind of have this idea that, okay, maybe you're going to be angry, or like this music makes you anxious or sad or angered or something. But in reality, the people who are fans of this music, they have their brains react the same way as you do listening to Queen or somebody. It's just like it's the music you like. You find it soothing, you find it relaxing. So it's like I don't know. It's like it's just a different. It's the same experience you have when you listen to music. So it's not so much overthinking about, okay, what does this mean? What's the point of this? Or what are you trying to achieve? It's like, this is just listening to music,
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because,
yeah, if you don't like get it, like it, then just move on and you listen to something else. I mean, I'm not like
you don't have to get anything.
Well, Chris, I have a question. You mentioned that this music's atonal, so I'm wondering, like, what kind of pitch classes do you use? Like, I can tell it's not dodecaphonic, but like, are there Z relations with your lines or something? Like,
only your dodecahedron.
I think I just like make a little like motives. That I also move around a lot of my ideas in minor thirds. So there's like the main riff in Kirukais. That idea gets moved around in minor thirds a little bit.
So a symmetrical line, because if you keep going on minor thirds, you end up back where you started.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, I just like the sound of it, so I put it in the song.
Do you use the same guitar every time, Chris? Is
They
that
break
like
them so often.
the metal guitar, or because I
It's
noticed
expensive
like
fast.
yeah, you gave me a few lessons, so I know that you're very jazz and classically trained, but is that guitar designed for what you're doing with the guys?
Yeah, it's like in drop C. I might be going down to drop B, but that's a whole other conversation. And I just like
let's get into it.
Yeah,
this is an interview.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Difference between drop C and drop B, though.
Same drama.
What kind of guitar is it?
It's an Ibanez AR-50. It's like a 1980 Ibanez AR-50.
And what amp are you playing through?
I'm playing through a Mesa Boogie and a Mesa Boogie 4x12, and it's just I'm just gonna say it's just playing like really low, playing like riffs on that really loud is it's a visceral bodily experience. I get a body high.
Nice. Well, Kevin was alluding to something. Is there a lot of drama because of what happened with the bass player? Do you guys ever fight about whose song it is and
no
what's going on?
I don't think there's a lot of like tension at all.
No. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I mean, we parted on good terms. I mean, like he's a great musician, and yeah, I mean, like being a trio is fun, and we're all best friends, so we want to play music together.
Awesome. So moving forward, you have some music on Bandcamp.com, and I noticed you have a demo and then a sort of a full-length album. How long did that take for you to write and produce and do all that stuff?
The full length took a long time. The demo took a shorter amount of time.
The demo we started recording, I don't know, like July of 2019. Recorded it with like 4 microphones, like live takes, and then that was done by October. And then we started on the full length January 1st of last year. And then and I should qualify this by saying we didn't like start the writing on January 1st. Like we like the songs are like continuously being written like as part of our rehearsal process, but starting like on January 1st of last year, we would start recording and then mixing and then production and then mastering, and that was done by mid-March.
And do you do all of that yourselves, or do you have friends or someone you hire?
We did everything but the mastering. The mastering was done by one of my professors from U of I.
Shout out Graham.
His name's Graham Duncan. Great ears. Great at mastering and mixing too. For anyone listening who needs their project mastered.
Shameless plug. You better pay us.
Sounds good.
He's the
So
sponsor of tonight, so don't
the
worry.
mastering was the only thing we outsourced for, and the album art.
Yeah.
But,
Okay, speaking of that, because when I go on Bandcamp and I go to listen to your music, I'll just share my screen now with everyone.
Okay.
This is what you see as their
Dude, I
as
haven't
the
done a
full
band
length.
in
Oh,
so long.
nice.
Dude, I love the giraffes on the side. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So what's happening here? Why did you choose that? Who did the art? What's going on?
And who?
Mew3Mew.
On Instagram, dude.
Yeah.
She's so sick.
Yeah, the incomparable Mew.
Now,
Mew.
if you can't tell, that's a kitty eating the guts of a mermaid.
Oh, I thought it was one.
Tell.
Yes.
Kmac, plug into your computer.
Thank you.
Oh,
how
it
do
is a
you
mermaid.
how do you zoom in on a Mac?
Oh, you take the trackpad and go like this with two fingers from the middle to the two opposite corners.
Or Command
If you have the
Plus.
trackpad,
Command Plus.
Command plus.
We're gonna
there.
change the name from Kmac Attack to World's
Teach
Youngest Grandpa.
I'm still
open-
learning. Okay, there's a better visual of what's going on. Why did you choose this?
Well, we didn't.
Chose them.
We commissioned like we kind of just presented her with like the themes, and I was like, bounce your first idea back and we'll just spitball about it. I just kind of wanted her art to be imbued with like our vision, sort of, to see what she interpreted it from, just because I like generally the stuff she does. And that was the first idea she came up with, and I thought it looked very appealing.
Mm-hmm. Does it get some kind of? Is it getting a message across, or did you just like how it looked?
I think the message to me it's getting across is that it's twofold. Kitties are dope, and mermaids are yummy. And it kind of, when we were talking about it, she said she liked the movie
straightforward.
Mermaid in a Manhole, which it's kind of reminiscent of that. And that movie's it fucking flew away. Jesus.
Who did it again?
What's
Sorry.
Mew3Mew. Mew3Mew3Mew on Instagram.
Yeah.
She's fucking sick.
She's awesome.
All right, well, plug right there for her and your album. Are you gonna commission her art again if you release something new?
I think I would want to do something different.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like her art.
And where did the album title come from?
Kevin just made that up.
It just kind of like popped into my head one day, and I thought it was really funny because I feel like maybe on paper you wouldn't maybe find any humor in a lot of the lyrics, but I'm a pretty silly person, and it sounds like being is believing, or seeing is believing rather. But it just has a nihilistic, sad, emo, down on your shit vibe.
Right, being is bereaving for those that might have missed that.
Very fun. You're allowed to laugh.
So what's the future look like for you guys with COVID?
World domination.
Where do you plan on? Do you have anything planned to play? Are you doing anything virtually? Are you currently writing music? What does it look like for you?
My perspective, writing. All of the live shit can go fuck itself. We need to get better as a band, so we can have more fun live.
Yeah, I agree. We're just writing stuff for our second album, third release.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Sam is gonna be recording and mixing all of it, and it's gonna be amazing.
Awesome. What does writing look like? Do you all get together and kind of throw things out? Do you do it independently and come together later? Is one of you in charge?
I write all the guitar riffs first, and then I bring them to rehearsal with Sam, and then we hash them out until we think that, and we add parts and we take parts out and we figure out like the form, like how many times is this section repeating, and then that gets the song gets refined over a couple months, and then after we have a refined song, like then Kevin will write his parts for it, his lyrics and his vocal parts.
Do you ever come with a part in mind for a different instrument? Like Chris, do you say, man, this drum would be really cool if you did that here? Or do you guys not really dabble in each other's focus?
I think we do a little bit, but I think I just trust Sam to like play some dope shit, or I tell him to play a blast beat.
Yeah. I think that process is more like an exchange rather than like a proposal.
Yeah.
It's like I think this might sound cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like, oh, run that again, run that back, but try this.
Yeah.
Run that back.
Yeah. Oh, play that riff, but end it with this.
Play that riff, but invert it.
Yeah.
Play that riff, but play it fast.
True.
Foreshadowing.
True.
So do you have anything on the horizon right now where you can tell our audience, be expecting to see this on Bandcamp or anything like that? Or are you just really in the midst of writing?
Well, for one, our stuff is everywhere, not just Bandcamp.
Okay.
So anywhere you want to listen, you can find it.
Tidal.
Is it on Tidal?
No.
No.
Probably.
Go on Spotify.
It's on Spotify
and Apple Music.
But I think I don't know. We don't have like any dates, but I think it's like safe to expect like a second full length album like this year at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a good.
Awesome. Well, I want to start wrapping up. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to join the Kmac Attack, getting to know what your music is like, getting to listen to it. Like I said, for me, this is sort of uncharted territory, but it's important, I think, to talk to the musicians and get an understanding, because I don't know if you've come across this, maybe just because of the audiences that you have, that it's natural for them to like what you are putting out, but maybe a lot of people come to you with these kinds of questions. Is this something that often you find, or is it more people that understand already?
Oh, it's the freaked out.
Oh, no, we get a lot of polarizing opinions about our music. We like, some people are like surprised that they really like our music. Like there was this couple on a double date at the Loose Cobra in Tolona.
They gave me hella water. That was so kind.
Yeah, and we played, and this group, this like double date was there, and they were like, "What is going on?" But then they talked to Kevin at the end of it, and they're like, "Oh, so this is noisecore."
They're like, "Oh, noisecore."
Yeah, and then we had someone like run out of the Iron Post, and like she had like a panic attack triggered by our music or something.
Nice.
So,
the goal, right?
and then her friend,
dude, it is an emotional response, like it or not.
Yeah, and then her friend approached us after the show, and she's like, "You guys should have a trigger warning," you know, like.
Give you a trigger warning.
That's one way to put it.
Yep.
So, in closing, do you have any, thoughts? Do you have anything you want to share? Any words of wisdom for our audience about your music, about what they can expect? Go ahead.
Big Beef,
Live, Laugh,
Good
Love.
anime shows.
XD.
Oh, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Armored Trooper Votoms. There's other grindcore bands that make anime music too. So that's kind of a niche of grindcore, you might say. Madoka Magica.
Dark
Lee
Souls.
is watching Higurashi. Dark Souls it's influenced by Berserk, which is an anime.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. Watch the original Berserk though. Don't watch the new one. The new one has like CGI animation and it does not look good. Just trust me on that.
Yeah, I mean, expect new
Gundam
music from us,
good.
and if you ever want to book us, hit us up.
Okay, I mean, that's encouraging. I'll take your word for it on the anime.
And stop eating soy.
Yep.
Soy boys.
And we'll end it at that.
Okay, well, thank you
thank
again.
you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. And again, you can find Vertigo Children anywhere music is given,
Just
and
anywhere
distributed.
music.
Yeah, anywhere
It's
music.
it's linked to Spotify. Their Spotify is linked on our
Okay.
Facebook page.
Yeah, awesome. We got that linked. You guys take care. Have a good night.
Seven.
Amen.
Thank you, Kyle,
Amen. Thank you,
and
Kyle.
friends.
Spotty.
Kyle,
Shalom.
DM me if you want some good, crazy music recommendations. If this is new to you, because you'll
It is-
like, I'm sure.
It is very new. I'll get in touch, Kevin. Thank you.
All right. All right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Again, that was the Vertigo Children. They are a threesome from Champaign, Illinois. You can find their music anywhere it's sold or I can't even think of the word. Streamed. Thank you. Spotify, Bandcamp, those two.
Anywhere you
And
listen to music.
Apple Music. Yeah, we do have a link. We'll post that if you want to hear some more. We got to listen to and see some of their music, which I think they said December of last year they made that video. And I think visually it's really helpful to see, because when you just think about, or when you just listen to music, you might think they're just in a studio and they're very refined about it and they're trying to be, really precise to get it just right. But when they're making it, it is a very visual experience. So I think that was really helpful. Do you guys have any more thoughts about what you heard or saw?
I just don't know what they're so angry about.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's really impressive music, and it's a little different than what we what we all listen to, I can assume. But it's teach their own, and they're making it happen. So I'm proud of all of them. They're good people making good music. So
I had a conversation with some of my music colleagues yesterday on a separate Zoom podcast. No, it's just a Zoom call. But I don't know. I probably will get flack from you three for something like this. But we were talking about how we listen to music and how younger people listen to music and stuff because we were with one of my professors talking about one of his students, and they were all bringing in music oh, this is something cool to listen to, this is something good, and they were all trying to get a discussion. And my professor is really just annoyed because for years now he can't get any discussions from these people because they're all the same. It's, oh, this song was cool, I really like this part, I like this. It's well, why is that in the song? And the person's well, it's cool, it's that. And it never gets any deeper. And so I don't know, that's kind of one of my problems with a lot of stuff. And
you mean with their music is that they
not their music, but anytime I hear people talk about their music, they never say why they did something, they just say it's cool. And so
it's almost like the mindset, they just almost don't even care what everyone else thinks. It's solely like Kevin was saying, did it solely for himself.
But what is he doing?
Well, that's the thing.
Who cares? He doesn't care if
Well,
I don't know. I guess that's just the mindset,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel
it's
like
different. We're trained to analyze music and give meaning to everything. And
I'm not talking about analyzing, I'm just talking about discussing it.
Yeah.
What is there to
give
out of
meaning
that
to
music?
things
But to discuss it, you're asking to analyze.
I mean, sure, in semantics right
sense,
now, in a broad sense, yeah. But what is there to discuss about that music?
Well, I mean, I feel like it comes back to maybe that study that I referenced, where it's what I mean, you wouldn't ask that question about certain music. You wouldn't be okay, why is Beethoven making using a violin? Maybe there's historical context of why, and maybe theoretical reasons why he's orchestrating the music a certain way or writing his melodies a certain way. And as there is theoretical reasons behind the music that Vertigo Children are making, but you don't go, why are you making music?
I am going, why are you making music? That is what I'm doing.
I don't know, but then why make any music? Why is
him.
that specific to? I don't know if that's different between generations. That's what I'm confused about.
No, it's not generations. No, I'm misled. It's just that my professor was noticing it more in his classes as it gets younger. As not as it gets younger, as he gets older, because obviously they're all staying the same age. But as he gets older, he just starts to see more and more of just less discussion and more just broad statements.
Well, I think that plays into what we were talking about the last show, where music today, it doesn't take as much work in a sense, and for the most part,
this clearly does take work. They were
sure right, it does, but I think you're not referencing their music, and that's what you said, not their music, but just music as a whole. That it just, if you write a riff, it sounds cool. There's no reason for writing it. It's just something that maybe came to mind, and you put it in the song, and it repeats at this point. And that's been around forever, I think. but it just pops up in your head. I don't know how else to explain it. I don't think like Kyle said, there doesn't really need to be a reason.
Yeah, if they like it, they like. I mean, I don't know. It's why does there have to be a need for it? I mean, music exists to um, decorate the
Express.
passage of time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think, and you can decorate it however you want, but they're decorating it the way that sparks their interest and releases serotonin for them. And I listen to the music that I listen
Mhm.
to decorate my time as it passes, and I think that's why any music exists. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's a really good discussion, Nick. I mean,
I
it's
think Nick
especially,
still disagrees with this.
I mean, he
but-
will, and because we're not saying why, but this is something to talk about. And
But why though?
Yeah.
But why?
Well,
Why?
why do you think, Nick?
Well, why? No, why?
Why make music? Why is music what it is? I don't know. What's
Well,
your response?
I guess, yeah. So, I think in a more general sense, like for art itself, like they mentioned something about referential, and I wanted, but they kind of said that about like, just the generalization of metal music. But yeah, I just like to see stuff become constructive on top of itself, like where you can kind of like say why you're doing stuff. And it wasn't really like I'm trying to say like why music exists or something. It's just like, I don't know, I'll just throw it out there, you know.
Do you feel that what, like the song we listened to today, for instance, it didn't have any purpose?
I felt like there were some points like I wish, well, Hartley went into like with like modulations and stuff, like it's the same thing but at like different pitches. I'm just curious about how they were constructing their songs. Like, was it just something constructed because they liked it, or maybe there was like a deeper thing that connects the different passages of music?
I feel like that gets further away from the meaning of music to me, trying to understand why the choices. I mean, at the beginning of music, I mean, be it past, maybe music as a form of a communication or something, but as music as a form of, um, you know, um, ritual or entertainment, it wasn't about, oh, why are you choosing to do it this way? It's entertainment. It's
Well, that's I guess what I'm saying is like you have the music of it's just like that's constructive. There is nothing like that. But then in the higher, like, it's like I guess the goal for me is like, is there a way where you've branched on beyond that, where it's not just playing this because of that, but because stuff is self-referential and it's constructive and it's building on top of that? And Hartley did mention some of it, like with like different transpositions. It's the same thing, but now being heard differently. They even mentioned in versions where they hinted at like it's the same song, but now like instead of playing the melodic thing going up or down, it's the flip side. So I'm just curious about kind of stuff like that,
Is he talking
where
about,
the
like,
music
rhythmic inversions there? Or was
they
it?
they had some stuff, yeah. And I think that's something because you often hear overlapping between metal musicians and classical musicians. I think it's because of that kind of stuff, because in metal, like they don't just play simple, like they don't play song forms. Like typically they don't just play verse A or like blues form. They typically make up all their own stuff. So I think there's like a large overlap between listeners just because of how they listen to it. They're listening to it in that constructive sense, and then like for more pop music, you're kind of listening to the words and how they hit that groove, but in terms of form it's always the same.
I mean, yeah, that's a great point. And I'm glad that we had them on because it spurs on this kinds of discussion. And are there similarities between what we listen to or what we think should be music and what they, not obviously they specifically do, but what they're.
I
the
personally
general
love
idea.
hearing when people have negative experiences to music, because like and more negative than just like I don't like it.
You mean like
But,
someone running out? Like you
yeah, I
said?
love that
Yeah.
kind of stuff because that's a visceral reaction that we should have more often.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I definitely agree with Kyle Johnson.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I'm better, Kyle. At least right now.
Well, I'm Kmac, so it works out.
right.
Yeah, hopefully someday we can get them to play live. I think that would be really interesting just to see something that isn't already produced. But I like the discussion a lot, and it's something to continue for sure. I'll clip some of these for sure to throw up more detail because they had a lot of good comments on their own music. Quite a bit of stuff I didn't get to, but it is getting pretty late, so I think we're gonna wrap it up. Next time, though, we will get to know Kyle a little better because he is the last member of the show besides me to interview, because doing that to myself would be weird.
You won't interview you, Kyle. Just come out and say it. I'll interview you.
We'll all interview. It'll be like a group, like a job interview.
You take one question at a time.
What are your strengths?
Yeah, next
right.
week.
Yeah, so we'll get to know Kyle a little bit. I do have a couple of more musical questions, not obviously specifically related to the Vertigo children, but
Vertical.
just the vertical.
The
children.
vertical.
This is the first episode of our 10-part series devoted to the music of Vertigo children.
We hope you'll tune in. And so I'm excited to get your thoughts on that. But if you've been listening, thank you very much. It's good to see you guys again. Feel like we haven't talked since the last show. So hope you guys are hanging in there. And hope you have a good rest of your week. And maybe we can hop on and squat up soon. Yeah? You guys feeling that?
Okay.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up here at the Kmac Attack. No
show.
Kmac Attack no show.
Yeah, Kmac Attack no show. We'll see you on Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here at the Kmac Attack.